Hi guys, I've been meaning to post a video on this for a while because it's something that's quite personal to me and also something that I take a lot of issue with, and it really bothers me when I see it. Um, there's a comparison that's quite popular to put on photos or to post text posts about, and it gets a lot of notes on Tumblr, I've noticed, and it's also quite popular on Instagram. And people actually like it and genuinely think that it's a good comparison. And I just think it puts down our sport as a whole and makes it into something less than it is. And it's just such a negative comparison. So the comparison is as horseback riding, as addictive as cocaine, but twice as expensive. And the reason why I take issue with this is because if you're saying it's as addictive as cocaine, you're comparing it to everything that comes with a cocaine addiction. And cocaine isn't a happy thing. It like any drug addiction, it pulls families apart. It causes anxiety and fear within the family because they don't want anything to happen to whoever is addicted to it. Um, when you're addicted to a drug and you don't have the money to pay for it, you do things you wouldn't normally do, like stealing from your family or selling things that you wouldn't normally sell, like drugs or something. And you just do bad things. It turns you into a completely different person. And with all that aside, when people are on cocaine, it's scary. Like, they're a completely different person. You don't want to be around them. They look different in their face. Like, it's scary. It's not a funny thing. And the fact that it can turn someone who's normally a trustworthy and loving person into a lying person who steals things and money from their family, who sneaks out late at night to go get their fix, and who lies to their own mother and steals from their own mother to afford the drugs, that is scary. That is nothing happy, and so far from what I think horseback riding is to most people, that I don't see why you compare it to that. Like, drug addictions are not a joke, and they shouldn't be compared to something that is so happy. Like, I know most people on Tumblr who ride absolutely adore it, and it is basically their life. It is something they think about all the time. It is a stress release. It is so much more. It is a passion. Like, there's nothing that should be compared to a drug addiction. And by saying as addictive as cocaine, you are comparing it to a cocaine addiction and all the things that come with that addiction. And I had a family member with that addiction, and it's still something that arises every now and then where he will slip up, and it's devastating. Like, you have no idea what it did to my mom, and she was distraught at times when he'd go out at night, and she'd try and follow him and yell and stuff to try and scare away any potential dealers if he was nearby. And it was horrible. It brought absolute fear, tension, stress, and just all in all depression into our family. It's not a good thing, and I'm actually so offended that people see that as a good comparison, because to me riding is so much more, and I would never ever compare it to something like that. And also, the reason why it bothers me is because if you compared it to pretty much anything else that's addictive or has stress relieving qualities or whatever, people would have an absolute heart attack. If you compare, I don't agree with this. To preface this, I don't agree with this at all. This is just an example. If I made a post on Tumblr as an experiment and said horseback riding gives the same stress relief as cutting and can be as addictive, people would not be okay with that. My computer just shut off. They would not be okay with that. There would be an absolute crazy fighting, yelling at me. I'd probably get death threats. No one would agree with that. No one would think that's okay. And it's because that's a much more personal thing to most people, I feel. And they see it as more of an issue than a cocaine addiction, which I don't see why, because both are destructive habits, and both should not be compared to something that is happy and actually helps put destructive habits aside. Horseback riding has been therapy for a lot of people, so why would you compare it to something that would bring a need for therapy? I just think it's stupid. And it just bothers me that one of those comparisons is okay and is not seen as bad, but the other would be seen as horrible, and people would take so much issue with it. And I just wanted to bring light to why I think it's so bad, and that I'm not just trying to be a bitch when I say it's bad, or when I reblog it and say why are you using this comparison, blah blah blah. It's because it's personal to me, and I've seen it firsthand and seen what it does to people, what it does to families, and it's just so unhappy, and it's not a joke. It's not something to be taken lightly, and it's not something I'd want to happen to anyone. And it's offensive that people actually think that it's a good comparison to horseback riding. Yes, I get horseback riding is expensive, but as for an addiction, I wouldn't even call it an addiction. Um, I really hope that none of you are so into horseback riding that you'd sink to the level of stealing money to afford your habit or start doing really bad things. And I really hope horseback riding doesn't tear your family apart or cause health issues or just poor situation in general. I think it's more of a passion. Like, we love horseback riding. I wouldn't say it's an addiction even. Um, we love it so much, and it's like a lifestyle. It becomes part of our life, and like the relationship you have with the horse is on such a personal level, and like you get to know all these animals so well, and it just creates an entirely new atmosphere for you. Like, you make new friends through horseback riding. You learn so much. It teaches so many lessons with regards to patience and perseverance, and it's just such a positive thing in my opinion. Like, it helps people get out of really dark situations. Like, when you're unhappy and you go to the barn, it's like whatever happened to you prior to going is gone just for that time. Like, that's what I noticed when I ride. It lifts any sadness or like anger or just anything that I had on my mind before that was negative, and it takes it away just for the time that I'm there. And it's like therapy. Like, I don't understand why people would compare it to something so negative. So basically, that's my take on why you shouldn't compare the two, and I really hope that made some people reconsider about reblogging it or using that quote on their photos. Um, because if you reblog it, even unless you're disputing it in your message, you're supporting um, what this quote is portraying. And um, I just think it's a really negative way to look at horseback riding, and I'd really love to see some better comparisons or even just some better posts describing why exactly horseback riding is so special and what exactly it's all about and what it does for us. And I really hope I made some people reconsider, because then I've done a good deed and put a point across that really shows people that this is not really an okay comparison. I'll put my links down below, and if you want to talk to me, I'm here. Just make sure that the questions aren't really super personal, but I'm happy to have a discussion about it. And yeah, that's about all I can say. Sorry for being so awkward in the video and stuttering and messing up words and stuff. It's hard to talk about something when you just have so much on your mind about it, and you want to get it all out at once, but it's just jumbling in your brain. So again, thank you if you actually watched this whole thing.